am Danielle Beach of Beach Oswald Immigration Law. Earlier this month, we talked about cancellation removal for non-permanent residents. Please look up the YouTube and like it if that's something you're interested in. Today, we're going to do a follow-up, and we're going to talk about what if you are in removal proceedings and you are already a permanent resident. So there are certain requirements if you're already a permanent resident. First of all, you have to prove that you have been lawfully admitted for permanent residency for 5 years, at least 5 years. The great thing about that is it's not subject to the stop rule. And that means that if you had a notice to appear putting you in removal proceedings during that 5 years, it's not going to stop the 5 years. If you committed a crime during that 5 years, it's not going to stop the proceedings. Even if you have lost your case and you're on appeal, that 5 years keeps running. The second point that we have to show is that you have resided in the U.S. continuously for 7 years. Now, the reason that one is important is because a brand new case came out, Barton v. Barr, and that came out last month. And that is about this 7-year provision. And it extended the 7-year provision, making it broader and making it cover more areas, covering deportability and inadmissibility. It was a close decision at the Supreme Court, 5-4, but it does change things a little bit. The third provision is that you cannot be convicted of an aggravated felony. So what is an aggravated felony? People ask me that all the time. It goes under a certain provision, 101A43, and there's many different sections. Well, it was greatly expanded when the IRA Act came. So basically what it does is if you have a conviction that's over 1 year, sentence, not conviction or time served in jail, you could be an ag felon. If you had over $10,000 involved, even potentially, and nobody lost that money, that could be an ag felon. If you have other situations, so you need to look at it, have a lawyer look at it and examine it. It goes by the statute, and it's a comparison of the state statute, so you need to check, is this charge an aggravated felony or not? If it's a crime involving moral turpitude, that's not an ag felony, so that's okay. Fourth provision, discretion. Again, we get to discretion. Most of immigration involves some kind of discretion. And I have seen cases denied solely because of discretion, because they had too many charges and things happened that resulted in their being not eligible because of the discretionary factor. More usually it's one of the other factors, however. Now, is there any exceptions to this? Yes, if you have served honorably in the armed services for 24 months. That's an exception. Also, if you're separated from the armed services and you have separated under honorable conditions, that also is an exception. So, what do you need to know about this? First of all, this only applies usually for someone who's had some kind of charge who then comes back into the country, and maybe they've gone in and out several times and they said, but nobody ever stopped me for that charge before, it didn't seem important. That's usually often when they catch you at the border or coming in on a plane, and they'll say, wait a minute, you've got a charge. Or if something else happens, some fraud issue comes up, that could be also when you get put in removal. And this is a person who has had a green card, maybe they applied for citizenship. That's the third area that we see a lot of. So if you apply for citizenship, often it comes up, wait a minute, you've got these charges or the fraud or something else that is negative that could be serious. The other thing we're looking at is it's not just in the 7-year provision. It's not just that you committed a crime and that commission of the crime stops the clock. It's the fact that you could have admitted to a crime. So you said to the immigration officer, well, I never got caught, but I actually did such and such. That could also be considered stopping the clock for the 7 years. And if you don't have those 7 years continuously, then you're not going to be eligible for this relief. So kind of a complicated relief, a lot of new law changes with this new case. See a lawyer. If you like this video and you think it relates to you, give it a thumbs up and contact me and we'll be happy to help. We love these kinds of cases because you have a lot invested if you're already a permanent resident in the United States. Thank you for listening.